one, the Messi of AI. I mean, that's a tall order right there.
I think that's really what CARP's built. And in my opinion, it's still undiscovered as just a broader AI play, which is why I believe they're the Messi of AI. I think there's a golden path right now for them to monetize what we view as potentially $1 trillion market opportunity. And I think investors still have not recognized what this golden goose could be.
Yeah, I mean, as we just mentioned, the stocks moved pretty ferociously here in the last couple of months and since the start of the year. When you think about some of these newer AI applications in real time, they're already being applied on the battlefield. Case in point, Ukraine. Palantir is a key example of that. Do you think this is a situation where investors don't fully understand what this company does because so much of it is defense tech? And yes, I realize it's expanding out to the commercial side too, but there's a lot that they can't talk about, for example.
Well, I think that's the biggest misperception. I can tell you, we're talking to many in the 202 area code. The reputation of Palantir speaks for itself in terms of, any sort of operations, three-letter agencies. Now, if you're an enterprise CIO, and this is the conversations I've had, you're looking toward AI platform approach, Palantir is potentially the first call. And that's why I think in this AI gold rush, what I view as the fourth industrial revolution, of course it's NVIDIA, Microsoft top of the mountain with Nadella. You look at second, third, fourth derivatives, right now Palantir front and center. And that's why I think this is a stock. You look at our bull case model, I think this is ultimately $25. And I think as they execute, more investors start to look at it.
Here we have the daily price chart for Palantir Technologies Incorporated, stock ticker PLTR. As we can see here, the stock is now surging higher. This is a tremendously impressive price move, given the fact that the stock was trading at some pretty severe lows not long ago. At the moment, what we're currently looking at is a price high above the $30 mark, and specifically, we have posted price levels that come in at $30.29 during the August 9 trading session. These are significant price breaks because, as we can see here, the stock has had a tremendous amount of trouble breaching this $30 handle. If we look at these prior price moves lower, we can see that the stock managed to post near-term highs coming in at $29.83 during the July 18 trading session. However, selling pressure within the broader market ultimately sent share prices lower, and we did see price declines coming in at $21.23 during the August 5th trading session. As we can see here, share price activity was caught to the downside by the rising 200-period exponential moving average, which is found on the 4-hour price chart. That would be this rising blue line here. As things currently stand, support zones have moved up to the $26.30 mark, and trading activity is trading well above its exponential moving average cluster, as we can see here. Currently, the indicator reading does remain favorable. As we can see, the relative strength index is showing a positive slope in its trend momentum. Essentially, what this tells us is that the stock has underlying bullish momentum that has supported share prices. In addition to this, we can see that the relative strength index reading itself is not trading in overbought territory, which is quite interesting given the fact that we have seen tremendous surges in price action and the stock is now trading near recent highs above the $30 mark. Going forward, I would need to see a breach of this $26.30 level in order to take pressure off of the top side. The reason that I mention this specifically is due to the fact that this area does mark a historical support zone when we look at the August 6 trading lows, as well as the fact that the 50-period exponential moving average coincides with this area. That would be this orange line here. In all cases, the exponential moving average cluster is showing positive trend momentum here because all 4 moving averages are moving in the upward direction. Essentially, what this tells us is that Palantir is likely to encounter support levels at higher and higher levels. Ultimately, this supports the bullish outlook and does suggest that we should be on a firm trading stance within this stock's share price activity for the next several weeks. For many, these moves to the top side might seem surprising given the fact that near-term losses were quite substantial. Specifically, if we look at these prior lows, which came in at 2120, we can see that several important Fibonacci support zones were broken in the process. Specifically, this means that the 23.6%, 38.2%, 50%, 61.8%, and 78.6% retracements were all broken to the downside during this impressive, strong, declining price move. However, as we can see here, the stock was able to impress a very impressive recovery and ultimately break above its prior highs.
Steve, want to get your thoughts on this, especially since Alex Karp, one of the co-founders and the current CEO of Palantir, did pen a very long, I'll say, op-ed in the New York Times about AI earlier this week.
Yeah, and comparing it to Oppenheimer and how this is really an opportunity. We hear so much, at least this is Karp's view, we hear so much from the community developing AI about being responsible and safe. And even years ago, he brings up the examples of Microsoft employees upset about working with the Army and Google employees upset about doing the digital satellite imagery. He seems to kind of embrace it. I just want to pick out one quote from this. I mean, he calls for a, quote, more intimate collaboration between the state and technology sector, really comparing it to what Oppenheimer did, if you saw the movie or read the book or the history lesson about that, working hand in hand with the government before someone else does it. And he brings up the case about Ukraine. And I guess the other thing, Dan, I was kind of curious for your take on this, because there is a meme stockiness to Palantir, too. I'm wondering how much of that factors into your calculation there, too.
No doubt. I mean, there's a huge retail presence.
Right.
And I think this is one where maybe retail has been ahead of institutional in terms of understanding the actual potential AI story. I can tell you in my conversations today, it's really institutional investors being like, okay, what am I missing in this story? Where is the actual total addressable market opportunity? And can they go from government to commercial? Because I think when you start to look at that, for them is really the opportunity. And if you're a CIO of an enterprise, there's no better reference accounts than those in the 202 area codes.
But what does that look like? I mean, if you think about it, okay, so it's very opaque what they're doing on the military side of it. I'm just curious, what does that look like on the commercial side? Like, what are you seeing there? And especially, I know they're growing some clients and so forth. What are you seeing there?
I'd say from a platform approach, in terms of scale, and in terms of actual use cases, they're probably the first call. I think they're probably in this market the purest AI play out there. Now, they built it, others are coming, but it just speaks to our view. In this fourth industrial revolution, Palantir is going to be a big player.
The first time I ever heard a major company say machine learning came from Palantir. Yeah.
Our high-value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high-conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk-to-reward metrics that target massive, market-beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.